group coaching. Today's topic, what in the world do I do when somebody says yes? Meaning, yes, I want to rent, yes, I want to buy, yes, I want to invest, yes, I want to sell. Any of those yeses. Okay, so the very first step is, as a brand new agent, you're going to be like, oh my God, like this is exciting and also scary. Don't fear the yes. This is why we are here. Do not fear the yes. The very first thing you're going to do is you're going to connect with that person. Okay, what that means is ask them some questions. Say to them, so let's use a buyer as the first example. The questions I'm going to ask though are the same questions you use for the seller. Almost the same you can actually use for an investor, a little bit different. I'll get to that in a minute, how that varies. The very first thing is, oh my God, awesome. So I'm gonna pretend like Richard is my buyer. Is that cool? Awesome. So let's say Richard, I'm making all these calls, I'm texting people, and somebody says, yep, I wanna make a move. First thing, get excited for them. That's really exciting. So I'm going to say, hey, Cindy, we're talking about what to do when a buyer says yes to you. I want to buy a house.
Thank you.
So Richard's like, yeah, well, I want to buy. That's awesome. So let me ask you, what has you thinking about buying a house? Now he's going to answer that question. Right? He's either going to say, I'm tired of renting, or I need a bigger space, or I'm tired of the city. I want to get out to the county. I want a garage because my car keeps getting dinged. They're going to tell you something. And then what you're going to do is listen. I know, crazy concept. You're going to listen to have a conversation with them for a few minutes, right? Don't overthink this. Don't think about what do I need to ask. Don't think about, oh my God, what's the perfect question, because there's no such thing. Just connect with them as if they are, maybe they are a good friend, but if they're not, just connect with them as if they are a good friend. Right? So I'm asked Cindy, like, oh, okay, so you want to get out of the county because you're, sick of the parking in the city. What else is bringing you out to the county? What else is important to you? What are you looking for in a home? I'd be like, oh my God, I really want an outside area. Okay, do you have an outside area now? No. What do you use the outside area for? I go, really? Like, what's happening out there? Oh, I want better schools. Okay, how many kids? How old are your kids? When you say better schools, do you mind me asking, like, what does that look like to you? So the very first part of that conversation, when somebody says, yes, I want to sell, yes, I want to buy, is simply connecting. Ask them some questions to learn more about why. Big word why, that's your first word, why. Then we want to tap into the what. We're going to go through the W's right now. So why do they want to do it? Why are you making a move? Then the next thing is the what. What do you think the what is? What do they like? Yeah. Exactly. Right? We can't really help someone buy a house if we don't know what they're looking for. We also, let's say someone's selling their house. I want to find out, wow, when it sells, where are you moving to? What's bringing you to that area? Because that may be what we call a twofer. Meaning they might also want to buy a house in Maryland and need your home. They might want something bigger, something smaller. Why do they want that? What does it look like? So you're still the same questions. Wow, you want to sell to move to Georgia. What's bringing you to Atlanta? That changing location. Sometimes I go to Florida, sometimes California. I felt like Atlanta today. So I was like, wow, what's bringing you to Atlanta? Find out, like, why are they going there? Why is that important to them? When do they want to be there? So we need to know the what. We can't help someone find a house unless we know what do they want. How many bedrooms? How many bathrooms? What location? Are schools important? Do they need a garage? Do they need someone for parking? Do they need an outside area? What do they want the outside area to look like? There's so many little questions, right? What is most important to you about the home you have? Wow, it's a bigger kitchen. When you say bigger kitchen, what does that look like? I don't know what bigger looks like. Bigger to me means they want a huge island and open space, all these cabinets. Right? Bigger to Cindy might mean she just wants a place to be able to have a double oven. She doesn't care about an island, open space. She just wants a double oven because she hosts Thanksgiving. So you got to find out, why are they saying these things to us? Right? Let's dig a little deeper. Spend some time there. What are they looking for? When they say what they're looking for, why is it important to them? What that does is that really shows the person you are caring about them and their needs. So it's automatically building a relationship and trust. It's also going to make the search way easier. So you're not looking at Bright MLS in, Baltimore County for a 3-bedroom, 2-bathroom at $350,000 and having 200 plus homes come up going, what do I send them? You're actually looking at Baltimore County in a certain location, in certain schools, in certain areas with certain things. Narrow it down. Okay, now I have 15 homes to send them to set up some showings out. Okay, questions on the why or the what before we take it to the next step? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
It sounds easy, right? When I say it, it sounds easy, but here's why it's not easy. We get very excited. We get somebody on the phone who's like, I want to buy a house. And we're like, oh my God, that's awesome. Okay, so what are you looking for? Okay, so you want 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms. You want Baltimore County. Okay, cool. And you said that you want a townhouse. Awesome. I'm going to go ahead and set up a search, create some showings. We're going to go see some houses. Well, then you go online and you're like, okay, well, I guess I'll set up showings. We're guessing now. We're making assumptions for that buyer, right? We're playing the buyer. We're not the buyer, they are. So we're on Bright MLS and we're setting up showings. Then we go and we take that buyer to see the houses and they don't like any of them. Well, of course, why don't they like any of those houses?
Because you didn't get the information you needed from them.
Yeah, we just made the appointment. We didn't get the information we needed. We got so excited. We just ran and set up showings without narrowing it down to really what are they looking like? What is important to them? Right? The other flip side of that is, let's say you get someone who says, oh my God, yeah, Cindy, definitely interested in going to see 123 Cookie Road. Now, Cindy could be, she's not gonna be, but she could be that agent who goes, great, I'll set up a showing, let's go see it. Well, number one, if she goes online and Cookie Road's already under contract, so she can't set up a showing, or if she takes that buyer to see that one house without knowing anything that buyer loves, the buyer might walk in and be like, oh, those pictures were totally off, which does happen. Those pictures do not line up. Nope, thanks so much. All right, never mind. Right, we're doing what's called we're being what's called a Pop-Tart agent. A Pop-Tart agent is where we just pop up and show them one house. Don't be a Pop-Tart agent. Instead, oh yeah, Cindy?
I have a question about that pop-up agent thing, because I've gotten like a couple of referrals, and the first thing that they want you to do is just start sending them houses, even after you are talking to them on the phone and you're doing the what, when, why questions. And they just said, well, you know what, can you just send me some stuff? So then you become the agent to just send them stuff. And I don't want to be the person to just send them stuff. So how do we say, okay, well, before I start sending you some things, usually I'll just do the, have the conversation with them and say, oh, you know what, by the way, in this competitive market, a lot of homeowners want you to be pre-approved. I said, so are you pre-approved, or would you like to, so let's start with that, because I know we're excited about buying a
So,
house. And that's kind of where I kind of maybe lose people.
yep. I was about to say, you didn't even have to say, I was gonna say, you're gonna lose people. Can we role play this right now? Can you
Yes.
play the part of that buyer who just says, send me stuff?
Yes.
Don't make it easy on me.
Okay. Oh, I won't.
Okay, good. I know you
Okay.
will. All right, so go ahead and just start it out with just send me stuff.
Yeah, hey, I'm looking to buy a house, and Janice sent me to you. She said you were an agent, and this is the area that I'm looking in. This is my price range, 250. Can you just start sending me some stuff? And
Well, first,
oh, that's me. I'm sorry, I forgot. I'm role playing. Yeah. So can you just send me some stuff?
yeah, so absolutely, I can send you things. Now, here's the thing, there's hundreds of things out there. I want to narrow it down to send you the right things for you. So you mentioned 250 price point. You mentioned ABC
Yes.
location,
Mhm.
right? Let me ask you just so I can narrow it down. Now here's the thing, because of her personality, I'm gonna pause it because she's spitfiring things. I have to spitfire back. I call that like the game of ping pong. Like, let's just go back and forth really fast. Cool. How many bedrooms and bathrooms are important to you?
3 bathrooms, 3 bedrooms, 3 bathrooms.
Cool. Do you currently rent or own right now?
We're own.
Okay. Now, do you need to sell in order to buy this new home?
No.
Okay. Are you looking to sell? Like, look to see what the price is, just out of curiosity?
No, not really.
Okay. Okay. I always like to ask. So 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, an ABC location. What else is really important to you in the house or around the house? Single family or townhouse?
Single family.
What else is important to you in the home? Because the way my screen looks, there's a lot of criteria I can put in. So I want to just gather this information for you.
Backyard, but I just need you to send me some stuff though. I'm not really sure. I have to talk to my husband about it. Can you just start sending me some stuff, please?
Absolutely. So I have some information now. I can definitely start sending it to you. Let me make sure I have it right. Your email is cindyisawesome@thegreat.com.
Yeah, that's it.
Cool. Now let me ask, so your husband, what's your husband's name?
Eddie.
Eddie. Oh, awesome. Now, are both of you, do you have a time frame of mind of when you want to start looking at homes and move into one?
At least by the summer.
Okay, awesome. So we have a little time, but not, summer's gonna be like here in a minute.
Yes.
Now you mentioned 250. Now, have you already talked to somebody, a lender, to figure out kind of what your buying power is with a
No,
legal process? Okay.
no, but I know I can afford it. I haven't talked to a lender, but I know I can afford it.
Wonderful. Well, I'm excellent. Here's what I'd like to do. I'm going to send you some things right now. So today, okay. Now I will tell you this, when I send you these homes, the homes you look at that I send you today may not be in the market by tomorrow or the next day. Right now, what's happening in the market, our homes are going within 1 day, sometimes 2, if we're lucky. So what I would like to do is help you not lose out and miss out on any home that really, really just speaks to you and your husband. So because of that, there's 2 things I'd like to do. One is I'm going to send you these today. I'd like to follow up with you and your husband tomorrow. Are both of you available for a phone call around noon or 4 o'clock?
Can we do after 5?
After 5, let me look at my calendar. 5:15?
Okay, that sounds good.
Okay. Because what I want to do is I want to be on the phone with you, talk about some of the properties I sent you guys, see what you like to set the showings right then and there. Because if not, you guys, if you take your time this week, you're going to see something you love and it will be gone by the time you go see it. Or by the time you actually want to go see it. I don't want that to happen.
Okay.
The second thing is that in this market, to actually go view a property, buyers do need that pre-approval letter, but let me just put your mind at ease. I know we hear that word, it's scary. It is a 15-minute process. The lender just shows you what your buying power is. So that way, if let's say we go see a property tomorrow night or the next night, or even next week, that you and Eddie really like, and we need to get that offer in that night, we already have what we need to get the offer in. Because if not, we go see a property and you like it, by the time you talk to the lender, it will be gone. You will lose it. I always want to make sure buyers know this information.
Okay.
Okay, I work with two amazing guys, Hunter and Patrick. Can I have one of them call you and Eddie around 5:30 tonight or 6:30?
That's fine. 6:30 is good.
Okay, let's stop it.
Okay.
All right, what'd you hear?
Yeah, I heard you justify the reason why, because I don't want to fall in love with the house and really not be able to afford the house. And I need to be ready to help you put an offer in on something that I love.
Yeah. So you're doing a few things. One, we want to take the fear out of the word lender. When you say lender and pre-approval, if you don't educate them on what that actually means for them and their buying power, whether they're ready now or they're ready at the end of the year, the lender is really there to help them just see where they start. That's all. And if they need a little credit work, they're there to help them with that. A good lender is going to help them with that as well, right? So they know how to be able to buy a house in 6 months or a year from now, right? So the lender is their friend. They're not, going to ask them for their tax returns and all this stuff up front. So for us, we need to, as agents, let them know why that is so important and take the fear out of it. Because people hear it, and if we don't take the fear out, they will absolutely ghost you. And then, let them, why are we asking these questions? Why am I asking you about how many bedrooms and bathrooms? Why am I asking you location? Why am I?
Yeah.
Tell them the why. Yep, absolutely. Was that helpful?
Yes, it was very helpful. And because I always say, well, why am I sending this person houses? And, one, what if they see a house and then they call another agent?
Well, exactly. And you bring up a really good point. So another thing is saying to them, okay, now I'm going to go ahead and send you some homes. I have that follow-up time tomorrow with her and the husband, right? So that's crucial. Because I want to tap into, we want to create urgency. Whether they're going to buy now or 6 months from now, we're moving them in a direction. Now, I may even go so far to say to that person, I didn't say it in this, but I may actually, depending on kind of a gut feeling, I may go so far to say, and listen, Cindy, as you're looking at these homes that I'm going to send you, you will see the listing agent on there. Let me just let you know the listing agent's job is to negotiate and get the top dollar for their seller. They do not have the buyer's best interest in mind. So I know some people out there will want to reach out to that listing agent. I highly recommend my job is to negotiate on your behalf, work on your behalf for when you're looking to buy that house and represent you, right? And have your best interest. And the great part is now, I personally say this, but every agent works their business differently, so I'm going to use my verbiage. And the great part is, Cindy, that I am completely free to you. The listing agent pays me. The seller's paying me. Right? Which is how we make it. Unless you put in other, some agents do other things in their agreements. That's a whole other class. So that's taking it one step further to really educate them on why they do not want to call that listing agent. Because they will not have their back.
And that's asking for the listing agreement to be signed, the exclusive, buyer agent. Yeah, I'm sorry. Exclusive.
Yeah, and I'm not even going to bring that up on this call yet. This person's not even ready. So
okay. Yeah, that's my thing. Like, when do you bring that up? Even when you're talking with the husband and the wife together?
So I'll be completely honest. If you answer the phone tomorrow night at 5:15 with Eddie and we're on the phone looking at homes and we set up some showings, I'm probably going to bring it up then, but I'm probably going to say, listen, for me to be able to represent you and negotiate on your behalf, Maryland Real Estate Commission has this buyer agreement. Don't call it a contract, it's a scary word.
Okay,
Words have meanings. Little words have such big meanings. So there's a buyer agreement that Maryland Real Estate Commission actually put in place to protect buyers. So what I'm gonna do is, now, you can do this one or two ways. I feel out the person to determine which way I wanna do it. I'm either gonna say a person, what I'm gonna do is, we have the showings all set up for tomorrow night. We set up 3, we're gonna bounce between 3 houses, I'm so excited. Right? And I'm gonna be emailing you a buyer agreement right now for you and Eddie to sign. What that does is protect you as buyers. That is what that agreement does, protects you as a buyer. Okay, it allows me to negotiate for you and actually work on your behalf. Without that agreement, everybody works for the seller. So I could either say it that way, or I'll be honest, I fill it out, print it out, and bring it to the first showing. That's how I, like, when I was active in the field, I actually would fill it all in, print it out, and physically bring that paper with a pen to that
Yeah.
first showing, that first house,
mhm,
walk in, and before we start seeing the house, be like, okay, before we start touring the house, I'll be standing like the kitchen counter, be like, all right, just in case this is your home, I need to be able to negotiate for you. And I'll say the same things, the buyer agreements, what it does, protects you. Notice I'm not making it anything about me.
right,
Buyer agreements don't tell about the buyer.
Right.
Is there a paragraph in there that protects us as agents and make sure we get paid? Yeah. They don't need to, like, I don't need to go into that because it's not about me.
okay,
I like to print it out and bring it with me because the relationship is now in person.
yeah. And then we can just scan it into Command and,
Yep.
and we're, okay, yeah, yeah, thank you.
I do have one question to kind of piggyback off of where she was going. As far as the whole just sending me stuff. So I told you I have a couple friends who are licensed contractors and things like that. So I was having a conversation with one of them, and that was his response to me. Yeah, just start, just start sending us stuff, and we'll review it.
Is this a investor?
Yeah,
So when he says send me stuff, is it for a residential property or investment property? All right, so the reason I asked that question is investors are gonna be a little bit different. Investors may not sign a buyer agency agreement with you, which is why there's another form called understanding who agents represent. That's what I call a one-off form, is if they like a property, you send them that, they sign it, it's I'm representing you on this phone call. The second thing is with investors, one question you always want to ask is, have you invested before? Or is this your first? If they haven't invested before, they know what they're looking for, they know the process, they know things. So now we just have to find out, okay, yep, I can definitely send you things. Let me get some specifics. Location, bedrooms, bathrooms. Do you want like a total rehab project? Or do you want like a, little fixer upper or something in the middle? That way, when we're looking at all these different homes and they're, oh, and what's your price range? Usually I like to say the word range, right? What's your price range? Oh, all right, something between 50 and 110. Cool. So 50, 110, Baltimore City or Baltimore County. You're good with any type of project. You've done investing before. Anything else I need to know to help send you the right notes? They're gonna say whatever they're gonna say. Now, when you do the search for that price range, 50 to 110, and you start looking at, like, you actually have to do your due diligence, look at pictures, right? You can say, oh, okay, they only wanted a little fixer upper. Okay, this is like a total gut project. Like, this house should be like torn down. Let me not send them that. So you're tailoring with them. Investors, just send.
So is there,
You need to get information to know what to send, but
so is there a way to kind of like she said, I don't know.
follow up with them. Say, all right, listen, I got all the information. I'm gonna send you some things. How about I touch base with you within 24 hours, so tomorrow night? Let me see if anything interests you. Make sure I have the search on point for what you're looking for. So it's all about our follow-up. If we're like, all right, take a look at them and call me when you see anything you like. Now we're just putting all the control in their hands, right? Instead, it's let's control what we want to see happen. So your follow-up is that way. Investors will typically, like if you send them some things, investors will usually not just call the listing agent. Typically, unless you totally ignore them and ghost them, and then they will. Then they-
Investors are hard. Yeah, I think investors are hard, and especially if they are investors that know what they want, because they will go directly to the owner. You know, if they're not happy with some of the prices that are listed. I have seen them bypass the agents and go directly to the owner and cut deals. So they're kind of hard to, not all of them, but some of them are hard to work with.
Yeah, some of them, when you really get a good relationship with a good investor, you can have that for life, right? If you show, like,
Yeah.
here's the thing, investors want timeliness, they want fast.
Yeah,
We had an agent here who was working with an investor who does a good number of deals, and this agent didn't move fast enough, so they lost that investor. So being able to, okay, you want properties, great. Okay, send the properties. Like, don't send them tomorrow. Get online, send the properties, follow up the same day. Hey, did you get the email? I just sent it to you. When they see you moving fast, they're gonna have more respect for you as an agent to want to work with you. That's the investor mentality. I do want to take a step back. So we talked about finding out from a buyer and seller why. We talked about we need to find out the what. We can't send them anything unless we know that. We can't set up showings without that. With this example, we did talk about how are they paying, right? Hey, how you plan to finance your new home? Cash, lender, like never assume. Like, oh, cash, cool. Let's set up some showings now. Like, I'm online. Let me set up, like, seriously, like, let's set up some showings. If they're cash, let's go. If they say lender, we did the example just now of how to connect them with a lender, but take the fear out of it by educating them what that lender is really there to do. And then actually say to them, stay in control of the entire process. What I mean by that is, all right, instead of saying, all right, Rachel, I'm going to send you some great lenders, direct mortgage loans, primary residential. Right? There's Hunter, there's Dan, there's Patrick. Put names behind it. It makes it more relational. Yes, to all those words. So when you put names behind it, now Rachel feels connected to those people without even knowing them. So instead of saying, this is what you don't do, I'll email you all that information, reach out to them. That's never gonna happen. Now you're playing a game of chase. Now I have to chase her, which is probably never gonna reach out and then I'll bring it back to me. Instead, hey, I'm gonna email you all their info. You can talk to every single one of them. Right? See what you like best with the different offerings. And I'm gonna have one of them actually reach out to you today. Do you have time between 4:30 and 6:30 for them to give you a call? I'm just putting my IDs super fast, less than 30 minutes. You know how it's good? Yeah. Awesome. See how I just took control of that?
yeah.
Now,
You know,
now I immediately text one, hey, Hunter, got this buyer. They're free today between 4:30 and 6:30. Her name's this is what she's looking for. Here's information on her. She's a person, like give them a little background. So I'm texting a book to Hunter, right? Can you call her between 4:30 and 6:30? Now Hunter's gonna either say yes, great, let me know how it goes, or he's gonna say no for whatever reason. Okay, no problem. Thanks so much. I'm gonna get somebody else to call. Right? And hey, Dan, or hey, Patrick, right? Because
Yeah.
I told her boys are at 6:30, so I need someone calling her. Cindy, do you have a question?
Yeah, what I did was I had someone who actually had already been pre-approved. And so what they were first time home buyers. So I immediately text Hunter. And because I told him, I said, well, you know what? That's great that you're pre-approved. I said, first time home lender. So he said, well, I've been doing some research. He says, and I'm really looking for a bunch of first time owner programs. So I text Hunter, and what I did was I introduced them through the text. And I said, Hunter, this is Evan. Evan, this is Hunter. Hunter is going to be able to answer all your questions about first home buyer programs. And then, you know, you're connected. So every time they talk, I can find out where they are in the conversation. So that's where we are now.
Absolutely love that. Connect them. Yeah, connect them on text, right?
Because it takes me out of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
It takes you, well, it takes you, so here's the thing, it takes you out of it, but you're still in control. Because
Yes.
you're part
Yeah.
of that text loop, you've connected them, and now you have, now here's the thing, you always need a follow-up time, and it should always
Yeah.
be in less than 24 hours. If
Yep.
you wait 48, 72, etc., it's, we lose the excitement. Oh, I love that. Thank you. Okay, so we have this person, we know their why. We know why are they looking to buy, why are they looking to sell, what's important to them. We've listened to them, we've built many relationships. We know what they're looking for, right? Why are they moving to Atlanta? What's in Atlanta? Or what type of house are they looking for? How many bedrooms, bathrooms, location? We know the what. We know why a backyard is important for them. Wow, they have like 5 dogs. Okay, they probably need a fence, right? Or a place they're allowed to build a fence. So we got to get that information. We talked about how they're going to pay. We took control of owning that conversation with a lender, right? And taking the fear out of it. Now we need to find out what is their time frame, right? So on the phone with them, I'm going to find out. I'm going to say, great. So, all right, Richard, you mentioned that. Now I'm going to summarize. This is very key. Summarizing somebody's words paints a picture for them that they've been thinking in their mind, but it's never been said out loud. What do you think happens when something's said out loud?
Visualize the house. So being there, it's like.
Yes. 100%. You're visualizing everything. So I'm going to summarize for Richard to visualize. I need to use that somewhere. So it's going to be, sometimes I say words, I'm like, oh, I like that word. So Richard, I'm so excited to help you. Here's what I'm hearing. Let me make sure I have this all correct. We're getting out of the city. You really need that garage because you got this new car and you're, you know, it's getting kind of dinged up in the city a little bit. And you want to get another new car, or you don't want that to happen. So you want that garage. You also mentioned 3 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, getting out of renting to stop paying somebody else and start paying yourself. Love that. And you did also mention really important that you have some sort of backyard or deck if you want to be able to grill out, and you can't do that. Did I get all that right?
Yeah.
Okay, am I missing anything that's really important to you? Notice that summarization, right? One, he's like, oh shoot, she listened to me. He feels heard, but then now it's over. See it. You were like on your back deck, making mistakes. That was just it. Great. So I'm gonna have one of our preferred lenders reach out to you. You mentioned sometime before 4:30, 6:30 is good for you. I'm gonna connect you guys on text right now. I love Sydney's method. I'm gonna connect you guys on text. You guys have the you guys can take it from there. I am then going to do some searches today. I'm gonna start working on your behalf. Say that word. I'm gonna start working on your behalf with your agent. I'm gonna do some searches for what you're looking for. I'm gonna send you some of those. And I'm gonna set up some showings, because showings do get scheduled up pretty fast. It's easier to schedule and cancel than to try to chase it down. So I'm gonna set up some showings. You said evenings typically work better for you for showings?
Yes.
Okay, so I'll set some up for tomorrow night, 5:30, 6 o'clock.
Okay, 6 o'clock.
6 o'clock, okay. So I'll get some set up for tomorrow night. I'm gonna call you though, or text you tomorrow morning, just to follow up on the conversation with the lender, make sure we have the right price point, because I don't want to show you houses that aren't that, and just confirm. Sound good?
That's fine.
So now what we're doing is we are, I say this phrase all the time, so those of you who have been in my sessions, I am a broken record. We are their GPS. Okay? Every morning I drive from Howard County and I put on my Waze app, even though I know the direction, and my little guy on Waze tells me based on traffic and accidents which direction to take. This morning, by the way, it took me a whole new way that I've never gone. I know. Been driving here a year, had a whole new way today. I didn't know where I was going, but I'm like, all right, I'm just following where he tells me. Kind of scary. We are their Waze for this process. We are their GPS. So we're telling him each step, what to expect, what is coming next, what I'm going to do next as their agent. When you share that with somebody, what do you think it does?
It's a level of comfort.
I think it makes them feel at ease and that you are really working on their behalf.
Exactly. Level of comfort, feel at ease, we're working on their behalf. Yes,
It also makes me feel that, like you said earlier.
and value, absolutely, and value, absolutely. Now I'm gonna flip this up just a little bit. You're talking to a buyer and you say, do you currently rent or own, which is a question you do need to ask. We on. And that person says, I currently own. What is the very next question you absolutely must ask?
Do you need to sell that house in order to buy a house?
Do you need or want to sell that house in order to buy your new home? Why is that the next question we have to ask?
Because it could end up being a stipulation in the contract if you find a house and you have to sell your own house first. And it could also maybe affect their buying power. I'm not really sure.
So it could affect their buying power. There is a stipulation in the contract, but we don't want to talk contract till you're actually on the appointment, because that scares people.
Right.
These people are not in real estate, they're the outside world. So when we say certain words that just are natural to us in real estate, in their world, they're like, contingency, contract, oh my God, I might not be ready for this.
Yeah.
Don't say, you're not at that, you haven't earned the right to talk about it yet.
Okay.
So instead, here's the real thing. If they say, yes, I do want to sell or need to sell in order to buy, set that listing point right then and there. Great, here's what I'd like to do. I want to gather a little information on your current home, so I can do a market analysis, which is a pricing analysis of what the market is saying, the price ranges for today. And bring that out to be able to share that with you, how I market homes to get them sold, and learn what you're buying, and learn what you're really looking for to buy to help you in both aspects. So does tonight at 4:30 or does 6:30 work better for both you and Eddie? Both, whoever is selling, they all need to be there, because whoever's not at the appointment is the decision maker.
Right.
So you're immediately, the second they say it, get the appointment. Just go right in for the kill. Okay. So Cindy, does tonight at 4:30 or 6:30 work better? Great, 6:30, because you said he gets home at 5. Perfect. Now, let me just take one quick minute and get some information on your home. Why do you think we need information on the home?
But if you're gonna go in and talk. What a bit more stuff.
You want to be able to know what you're talking about, absolutely. And you can't actually price a house unless you know what the house is like, right?
Right.
I can't do a CMA for a home unless I know how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, do they have, what type of countertops, do they have hardwood floors or carpets? Tell me more about the house. They have a backyard. What's in the backyard, right? It's that seller questionnaire that's in that agent packet I sent you. What does that look like, right? Because when you do a CMA, you're looking at what are the most similar to this property that's currently on the market and closed, which tells us that market value. Well, if we don't know if we don't know anything about the house, how do we know what's most similar? It's always fun when people get off the phone and they're like, yeah, the listing appointment, I'm like, that's fantastic. I need to do a CMA, great. All right, so let's get in, let's do a CMA. Tell me about the house. No, I don't know anything about the house. Okay, so we need to call the seller back, get some information, so we can actually do a CMA. Now, if you've never gone on a listing appointment, you probably want to set the appointment like for 24 to 48 hours out. I would say 24 in this market. So that way it gives you extra time to prep, right? To get the CMA done, to get the exclusive right to sell together, to bring out with you, to text the coaches, Rachel and I, and say, I have a listing appointment. Help, question mark, verification.
That would be me. I'm always calling.
As you go on more listing appointments, you will have, your confidence will build. As you practice doing contracts, hear the word practice? As you practice, you don't need to wait till you have an appointment, you can practice today. As you practice doing CMAs, as you practice writing a contract, as you practice an appointment, right? If you have a significant other or a friend, call them up today and be like, hey, can you pretend to be a seller? I want to practice. Right? So as you do that, then you're going to have a certain moment where you're going to feel comfortable setting same day appointments. That's what we're working towards. You want same day appointments because you're going to capture the business faster, because most people are going to be interviewing more than one person. So the same day is probably going to lock you in more. Questions on that?
That was good. Thank you.
I'm going to take this one step further, and then I'm going to actually switch gears into something totally different to end this. If you talk to someone, you say, are you currently renting? Do you currently rent or own? And they say renting. You do want to ask them when their lease is up, but you don't want to have that stop them from moving forward. Because are there options out there for people to actually end their lease early? Yes. I'm gonna tell you, so true story really quickly. My husband and I, when I got into real estate, we were looking to buy a house. Our lease was up, and we were renters for like 9 years. Our lease was up in October. It was March, and this new build was happening in our area. And this true story, the street names were like Harry Potter names, and I'm like a total geek, and I love Harry Potter. I'm like, oh my God, it's Harry Potter names. It's a new build. Like, I want to go see these. So we went on a weekend. Like, we're buyers, right? We're first-time home buyers. I'm a brand new agent, so I didn't know what I didn't know, but I was representing myself. I was like, oh, I'm gonna represent myself. This is awesome. So I was like, well, we're not doing anything until October, but I want to go see this model house. So it was a Saturday. We went to go see the model home, and there were all these people seeing the model home. So I'm like, I don't want them to get my house if I'm not like, oh, like, stop looking at this house. This is my house, right? I walked in, I was in love. This house was like everything I ever wanted. And a street name. Like, come on, that's just cool. Yes, I know, I'm a dork. So we sat down with the salesperson, and the salesperson was like, and I was like, I'm representing myself. The salesperson said, okay, here's like this block here that's already built, has one available, but we didn't like the cabinets, and it was at the higher price point. We're like, no. They said our next build is going to be available it's starting now, the breaking ground is gonna be available by the end of April into May. And I was like, well, our lease isn't up till October. And they're like, well, we don't know what's gonna be available then, because that's our final block. We haven't touched the final plot of land. We don't know if it's this year or next year. And we don't know the prices. I'm like, what do I do? Like, our lease is up till May. So salesperson said, or sorry, October. So the salesperson says to us, oh, his name is Richard. So salesperson Richard, super nice guy. So he says, listen, let's get you on the phone with one of our lenders. If you use our, now I already had pre-approval. I have a really close relationship with the lender guy. I'm like, I'm using my guy. Well, they said, let us get you on the phone with our lender. If you use our lender to close, they may be able to do some help with closing costs. Some new builds will do this to offset what you might have to break your lease for. And when you buy a property, now I didn't know this, I was new. So they said, when you buy a property, you don't pay the mortgage that month. It's not until, I forget if it was 30 or 60 days. It's not until the, like 60 days later or whatever. And I'm like, okay, so they said, go talk to your leasing office today. Find out if we have to break the lease. Tell them you're moving out of state or something. If we have to break the lease, what does that look like? So we went back and the leasing office said, if you have to break the lease, you owe us 2 months rent. The month that you break, or 2 months rent. I'm not paying the mortgage for another 2 months. I can move into the house. Yeah, I'd still be paying that, but I'd be paying it anyways if I live there, and we'd have the house. So by sitting, the point of that story is there were options that allowed us to go back in that sales office the very next Sunday. So we saw it on Saturday, we went in Sunday, and we locked in the house. And then we moved in 6 weeks, 8 weeks. Crazy, yeah.
So my question would be, how do I guess we know the options that they have?
So it's a great question. You won't know all the options because you don't know what that leasing office is going to say. You don't know the person's situation financially with the lender. So the greatest thing you can say to the person is, okay, I know your lease isn't up until August. However, you just shared with me you really would love to move sooner if you could. So if we could figure out some options, if there are any, would you want to move sooner? If you could get into the home sooner, they're going to say yes, most likely. Okay, so let's do this. Number one, let's connect you with a lender because they're going to be able to provide some options. Are they a first-time home buyer? Are they in France? Are there things that they can do? Let's also have you talk to your leasing office. Don't tell them you're moving. Just say, hey, if we had to, we may have to move sometime this year. If we have to, what are the stipulations? Find that out. Let's connect in 2 days so I can learn that. Okay, so now they're getting some information, the lender's getting some information. You're all kind of coming back together to figure out like what's possible, right? If they're looking at new builds has sometimes has options that they can provide if they use like their lender or something like that. Does that help? So you don't need to know them. You just need to get the resources to provide them. Good question. All right. Woo. Was that helpful?
Very helpful. Thank you.
I need to repeat that one. Definitely need to go on the list. Okay.